tears been running like a waterfall. Thought the stars would never let you down. And you keep on thinking you could save yourself, but that's love, that's just love. You should know some things will hurt, and you'll end up getting burned. I just hope that you will learn. That's just love, that's just love. You will get back up again, even if you don't know when. And it feels like the world.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel for some serious kitchen decluttering and organization. We are going to do this budget friendly, and we are going to declutter and organize so many spaces in this disgustingly messy kitchen. So I hope you guys are in need of motivation. Today's video is also sponsored by Cricut, but I will share my Cricut Explore Air 2 and what I'm going to be using it for in just a little bit here. So we are going to declutter and organize cabinets, drawers, and so many other spaces in here. Everything that I'm going to be using I already had on hand, or I purchased off of Amazon, and it will all be linked down below in the description box for you. If this is your first time here on my channel, I would love for you to stick around to join me every single week for cleaning motivation, decluttering motivation, and DIY budget-friendly home makeovers.
Sometimes it can be beautiful. That's just love, that's just love. You will get back up again, even if you don't know when. And it feels like the world is coming down on you. You have to move on, deal with your broken heart.
The first space that we are going to tackle is this cabinet here. It actually used to be the pantry area, but we created a pantry under our stairs, and now this is kind of just like a storage space, and this is where we keep all of our reusable water bottles and stuff, but I'm going to reorganize them. I got a bottle organizing rack that I'm going to be using that I got from Amazon, which will be linked down below for you guys. But I'm going to wipe everything down since I've removed everything in here, and I'm going to be using some thieves cleaner to wipe it down and get it all nice and cleaned up before we put everything back.
No matter what you think, you'll never ever get enough of love.
I am going to be using some of my tools from my powder room makeover. If you guys haven't seen that yet, I will link that video for you down below. It is such a good, fun makeover video, so I'll have that linked in the description box. But we're going to use some tools to put this rack together. A couple of the screws were hard to get in, so I definitely needed a screwdriver to do that. But like I said, this rack will be linked down below. I really wanted to get an acrylic one just because that's more my aesthetic and my vibe, but they were all sold out on Amazon. So we're going with this one, and it actually works really, really great. Utilizing that rack and just kind of moving stuff around in this cabinet here, we were able to better organize it and utilize the space a little bit better. So now we are going to work our way through the kitchen. We're gonna clean off the top of the fridge. I've kind of just used that as the dumping ground for random medicines and stuff because my kids can't get to it. It's mostly the dog's medicine. because I have to give it to him with some food or cheese or whatever. So it's all gathered up on top of the fridge, but we're gonna move that. We're gonna find a new place for it and get all of this stuff off of the top of the fridge, even all of this gross dust. It has been a hot minute since I've cleaned up here, and I'm just going to be using some thieves cleaner to wipe everything down and get it nice and dust free.
With pins and patches, we carry on. I rise from the ashes. I heal from your passion. My doubts are gone. Oh, yeah. Felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms. Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me. Got my heart upon my sleeve, can I hide the way I feel when you're next to me, girl? Got the kick in every move and I fought us like a fool for you. Wish I knew just what it was.
We are also going to organize the spice cabinet. It's not as bad as it's been before, but it's definitely needing some love. So we're going to organize this a little bit better, get rid of stuff that's super old or almost empty, and we are going to get some new spice containers to be using, and I'm going to be using my Cricut Explore Air 2 to create labels for these because I want it just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. We're slowly getting to the more aesthetic vibe when it comes to having the kitchen all organized and everything. So we're gonna use matching spice containers. We're gonna put labels on them, and we are gonna stick some to the door and also utilize the shelves too. This is what it's going to look like after we get all of our work done. You can actually find stuff in here now. You actually know what stuff is, and I really loved that I was able to put some of these spices on the door so that I'm not just cluttering the cabinet and the shelves and making it super hard to find stuff. So I got these containers off of Amazon. Those will be linked down below as well. And we are going to create labels for those. But first thing first, we need to get them washed. And since there were already dishes in the sink, we are going to take care of those as well.
Next to me, girl. Something special from the rise, something special that I like about you. There's a mystery entwined, something bigger to define about you. Am I the only one to see? Got me down on my knees, taken by your gravity. And I just know you got that something special about you. You got it down, shake my ground, and I can't get enough. Got me spellbound. And every day, in every way, I just know there's something about you. Something special from the rise, something special that I like about you. There's a mystery entwined, something bigger to define about you. Am I the only one to see? Got me down on my knees, taken by your gravity. And I just know you got that something.
So after washing those, I decided that I was going to transfer the spices to the new containers before creating the labels so that I knew exactly what I was going to be creating labels for. So we're going to transfer over these spices into their new containers, especially the ones that just don't really fit well in the cabinet. Those are going to be transferred to new containers, new little spice jars. And then we are going to create labels for them. After I transferred everything, I made a list of which spices needed labels, wrote that down, and then I brought that over to the computer with me, and I will show you guys how we are going to be using the Cricut Explore Air 2 to create some super simple yet really pretty, aesthetically pleasing labels. It is such an easy task to do if you have a Cricut Explore Air 2 or any Cricut cutting machine, but if you don't, I will have a link down below for you so that you guys can get one of your own. It is such a fun machine. If you don't have one, get one if you can, because you can use it for so many things.
You'll always be on my mind, even in the hard times. I care about you. How do you move on when everything goes wrong? I'm trying to find a way to get you out my head. Don't know how to cope with being so broken. Girl, I can't forget about what we said. I just wanna love you a little bit more. Don't just walk away from me and close the door. Baby, pull me closer now before it's over. I just wanna love you a little bit more. Oh, love you a little bit more. Love you a little bit more. Love you.
As mentioned, we are going to be using the Cricut Explore Air 2 to get everything done, and we are going to be using Cricut Design Space to create labels. This is such an easy design space to use. You can use basic fonts, you can purchase other fonts, or you can be a part of the Cricut Access monthly subscription program. I will have everything linked down below, but we are just going to create some simple labels today in the Cricut Design Space, and I'm just going to be using a font that I actually used when I did my pantry organization. But what I like to do before I create my labels is measure whatever I am going to be labeling so that I know that I'm getting the proper measurements. When doing so, then I will just size everything down in Cricut Design Space to make sure that it is the accurate fit. It is super user-friendly and super easy to use. I promise you, you will be able to figure it out super quickly. And if not, there are so many videos on YouTube, and I believe Cricut has some of their own videos too to help walk you through everything.
Don't hang up. Can we be friends again?
So once I've gotten all the text that I need, all the labels that I need, I like to go in and use the weld tool, which is in the very bottom right corner on your screen in Design Space. The weld tool allows you to join shapes to create a single customized image by removing any overlapping cut lines. So you just select weld, and it will help, especially if you have letters like I that has the little dot above it. It helps make it easier when you are going to remove that from your vinyl to put it on whatever you are labeling. I highly recommend using the weld in the layers panel to merge the selected images. You will be able to see all that when you get into Design Space to create your own stuff, and you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about a little bit better. So we hit that weld tool, and then I go into Make It. And once I am on this screen here where it shows your standard grip mat, which is what I'm going to be using, I like to separate my stuff a little bit better so that it is easier to cut and I'm not accidentally cutting some letters off. So I space mine out before actually hitting create and creating and cutting everything that I need to cut. So there's just a little friendly tip for you if you are like me and you have butter fingers and you don't want to slip and accidentally cut some letters. I highly recommend doing that. And then I turn the dial to custom and I go into the materials and I select whatever material I am using. Today I am going to be using premium vinyl. I'm going to be using removable matte white vinyl. This is the vinyl that I chose. I've used black before, but this removable premium vinyl is one of my favorite things to use for labeling because it is easy to get off if you do want to change that label. I am going to be using the standard grip mat today. They have different levels of grip for their mats. Today we're just going to be using the standard grip. So my tip for you, do not be like me and forget to remove the plastic layer like I did the first time, as you can see on there. Remove this plastic covering because you want the sticky side to be there so that you can put your vinyl or whatever materials you are using on that sticky grip mat so that it's not sliding all over the place when you cut. I had issues the first time I used my Cricut because I thought I could figure it out without reading any instructions or anything. Definitely could not. So standard grip mat, and we are just going to go in and We're gonna load it into the machine and everything is going to get cut and ready for us. But while this is cutting, because it's gonna take a hot minute, we are going to tidy up the area where we made a mess when we were doing the spices. Everything is done being cut. It's a little hard to see because I did choose white vinyl, but I like to use gravity in favor when I'm trying to remove my vinyl from my standard grip mat. So I flip it upside down and pull it that way, and I always make sure to cover up my grip mat once I am done using it so dog hair and all of that stuff doesn't get on there. We are going to cut everything out, and then we are ready to label all of our stuff here. I'm going to be using this weeding tool. This is a great thing to have on hand, especially if you are doing smaller lettering like I am today. It picks out all of those pieces that you don't necessarily need on there, like the A, the O, the P, all of that stuff. So definitely recommend getting a weeding tool if you are going to try to tackle a project like this. It is just great to have on hand if you have a Cricut too. And then I'm going to be using some grip tape. This is something that you can put on top of the vinyl piece that you are using so that it is easier to lay down on whatever you are trying to label. I highly recommend getting this. It works so great, and you can reuse each piece over and over again for the project that you are working on. I'm loving how these are turning out. They're super simple yet cute and aesthetically pleasing.
Take a sip from the city light. Join me, we got the whole world, but let's make it our own. Strolling along the sidewalks, but you're running inside my mind. You know we got together, we will always survive. There are times when we let go, but we never ever want to. No, we never ever want to. Always yours from the get-go. Will I never ever find you? Will I never ever find you? Live and let loose now. Take a sip from the city lights. Join me, we got the whole world, but let's make it our own. Strolling along the sidewalks, but you're running inside my mind.
We have gotten our spices labeled and ready to be put away, and I'm going to be using these little racks, these little hooks that I got off of Amazon. As mentioned before, everything will be linked down below for you guys. So we are just going to stick these on and make sure that we can actually close the cabinet door, and this way I can find stuff better in my cabinets, because these cabinets are tall. I'm not super tall, and it's always hard for me to find the spices that I need because they are without or not in my reach so much. So having stuff on the door and not cluttering up the shelves will be way easier for me when I am cooking, and also I feel like they look cute hanging up there on the door. So win-win on both parts.
We're almost there. I'm loving this feeling of something new. Just right what I needed. Take me there. We can drive away. Oh yeah. Listen to the midnight radio. Listen to the
voila, everything turned out great. I can find stuff super easy. We have the medicines up super high, out of reach. So we are going to move on to cleaning up the junk drawer. Oh my gosh, if you follow me on Instagram, then you've already seen it, but holy moly, this junk drawer is disgusting. I don't even know what's in here, honestly. So we're gonna go through and we are gonna organize it a little bit better.
We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let go. Listen to the midnight radio. Listen to the midnight radio. We can drive through the night. Oh, don't wanna wait all night. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let go. We can drive through the night, sing along to the midnight radio. Don't wanna wait all my life, can't remain, no delay, gotta let go.
We're falling out, we have reached disaster. Don't know where we're gonna be after. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling, falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it. Cause we're like Alpha and Omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and Omega. Even if we go all out and break us down, I know we are Alpha and Omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega. Like the waves pull you down underwater. We're fun until we hit the bottom. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling, falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it. Cause we're like Alpha and Omega.
That is all organized, so we are going to move on to organizing other areas of the kitchen. I had originally planned to get a pot organizer and a lid organizer, but I couldn't find a space for the pot organizer and it just wasn't great quality, so I'm not even going to link that for you guys, the one that I purchased, but I did get a lid organizer so that we can organize lids a little bit better, because whenever I cook, I can never find the lid. So we are going to organize these. We are going to put the pans away, and this was a super quick organization over here. There wasn't a whole lot to it, but under the sink is coming up next, and that is a mess. It's so hard to find stuff. There's empty stuff in here. Like, why did I put it back if it's empty? I don't even understand. So we're going to organize this a little bit better. I got a new shelf to use, so that's what we're going to be using today. It's from Simple Warehouse. It's under sink 2-tier expandable shelf in the color white. Linked in the description box for you guys. Put it together and we are going to use this and try to utilize the space under the sink a little bit better so it's not so cluttered.
Doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and Omega. Even if we go all out and break us down, I know we are Alpha and Omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega.
I fall behind every time that you're around. And it's a lie when I say that I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And in the night I tend to lose my sight. I fade out within the moving lights. But I got time, that's why I'm breathing now. I can see through my feelings now. I can see clear through my mind. And the secret is to shut my eyes, and see through my mind. I can see through my feelings now. I can see clear through my mind. And the secret is to shut my eyes, and see through my mind. I stay alive because I feel ready now. I see red, I feel blue, but it's all black and white. It's black and white. And in the night I tend to lose my sight. I fade out within the moving lights. But I got time, that's why I'm breathing now. I can see through my feelings now. I can see clear through my mind. And the secret is to shut my eyes, and see through my mind. I can see through my feelings now. I can see clear through my mind. And the secret is to shut my eyes, and see through my mind. To see through my mind. To see through my mind. See through my mind. In the night.
Most of our decluttering and organizing is done, and I'm hoping that gave you some motivation to tackle yours. I definitely did not have motivation going into this video, but we got it done. It took me all day long because I have a little one at home and I had to pick my son up from school and all that fun stuff. So we made a mess of the kitchen. Now we're going to clean the kitchen up, unload the dishwasher, and get the kitchen back to functioning properly and back to being nice and clean.
Louder, would you talk to me a little louder? And about that, I don't wanna be in this without you.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, babe.
My hands are dirty.
Your hands are told. Yeah. Bring that back. No. I have been doing this all day. All day.
Just somebody right by your side, a body to rescue your mind. Just somebody I'm the one to find when you need someone to rescue your mind. Colors, I think that I match with all your colors. Surrounded, all up in your zone, I am surrounded. 'Cause I like the way when you're around in the morning. And I love the way that we fit out when it gets boring. You're the one I talk to when I hit my lows. And I am the one when you need just somebody right by your side, a body to rescue your mind. Just somebody
through the smoke you created. I feel my feet on the ground and they're shaking. How am I supposed to save the situation while the stuff's getting wasted, even though we feel the same? Would you hug me in the dark? Let the worries go away. Would you do it all again? Do it all again? Would you leave your finger marks on my body while it sways? Would you light my way, find my way home again? My home is you. 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 Here we are, where we thought we'd never be. Is there ever a way to be free? Can we turn back time so long, my dear? How are we supposed to save the situation? Would you hug me in the dark? Let the worries go away. Would you do it all again? Do it all again? Would you leave your finger marks on my body while it sways? Would you light my way, find my way home again? My home is you. 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 My home is you.
Here are some before and afters from what we got done in today's video, and I hope that this video has given you some inspiration, motivation, or ideas on what you can do in your own kitchen to better declutter and organize it. Mine desperately needed it, especially that cabinet with all of our reusable water bottles. It was so hard to find anything in there. And now the space is utilized a little bit better. It's still not super ideal. It's not exactly the most ideal cabinet for water bottles and stuff because it is so deep. But I feel like now I have a better place to find stuff, cook, a better workspace, and just all around easier kitchen to navigate in. So I hope that this video has given you some ideas. I hope that you have enjoyed it enough to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I would love to have you stick around. Come say hi in the comments if you haven't yet and let me know what your favorite part of the video was. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for spending time out of your day with me watching this decluttering and organizing video and just hanging out with me in general. I hope that you all have a super amazing day. Don't forget to get a Cricut of your own. It will be linked down below in the description box, and check out those other videos that I was talking to you guys about in this video. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All the time when I feel